Ah, there we are.
Hi. It
Hey.
has been, we looked at the,
Audio's good, yeah.
yeah. Well, good evening. We are in Western New York.
At
Letchworth.
Letchworth State Park, which is considered, it gets been voted one of the best state parks in the entire country. We just got here a couple hours ago, and Cherie's like, "Hey, we haven't done a live
And we have
in
good upload.
forever."
Yeah, I look back at the calendar. Our last live was aboard the boat back in May when we did the cruise up to Jacksonville. Since then, we stored the boat in Sanford, Florida for hurricane season, decided we weren't going to put up with another hurricane season, and we came up to the Northeast.
And so did the hurricanes.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks we've kind of been staying ahead of 2 hurricanes. So it's been fun, but it has been an amazing van trip. We are 7 weeks into the trip.
7 weeks into full-time van life, and it feels so good to be living on the road again, being hypermobile. I think actually for the longest time we were only doing 1 or 2 day stays. We had a 5-night stay, and now like
A couple threes.
a couple threes. But it's just this fast-paced moving after a year and a half of basically being in one place with a bunch of little van trips mixed in.
Yeah, so for the pandemic, we chose to dock the boat in Sanford, one of our favorite cities ever, still is. Perfect place to do the first year of the pandemic in, be near family, near friends, near everything familiar to us. Just a great place to be. Yeah. But we're nomads. We got the itch. We got the van now. We replaced the van back in November with the blue one, which has been awesome.
It is so perfect for this kind of nimble adventuring. And anyway,
we decided we wanted to get to cooler temperatures. So social media wise, on YouTube, our videos are up to covering our adventure on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's really cool.
We got that one out. We'll be putting out a RVing the Blue Ridge Parkway tips video hopefully this week if I get around to editing. And then we'll get you caught up on the rest of the adventures in the Northeast, New England area. We've been in Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and now we're in New York. And we are making our way towards St. Louis by the end of this month. It's St. Louis area.
Yes.
To go see Chris's parents before they make their snowbird migration to Florida.
And your mom is watching.
And hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah, Mom, I know where you are.
Yes,
I have friend tracker on you.
Uh-huh. And so that's kind of the quick update. Do you want to stay out here with the mosquitoes?
Yeah,
or
there are mosquitoes here,
yet?
so I think we're going to head into the van and chat with you guys from there.
But we could give you a little quick pan around here of this beautiful campsite that's gorgeous. If anybody hasn't been here to Letchworth, they call it the Grand Canyon of New York, at least, and it's beautiful.
Beautiful. We came in the southern route this morning and just did all the waterfalls and the hikes, and then the campground's in the northern part, about 12 miles north. And so we just got here. We're going to be here for a couple of days and hopefully get caught up on some work and some video editing.
Okay.
All right.
So you carry that. I'll carry the camera.
Okay.
There we go. The mosquitoes.
See, this is you guys. See, this is us broadcasting on Ecamm. That's our production software for doing this.
Yes. And I've got this on the phone. You're actually the microphone over here.
I'm the microphone.
The microphone is in the computer right now. And here we are, charging our bikes up for some more bike adventures in the very soon.
There's Kiki.
The most important cameo right there.
Give them a quick tour of the van in case anyone's not seen it.
Yes. Here we are. There's the big giant monitor and the office space. And there's the bed back here. And it's really hard, unless I put this in a wide angle mode, to do much of a tour. But, we love this van. It is so comfortable and practical for this kind of travel. And hey, there we are, plugged in. Infinite camera there.
Right, setting it up on our fancy camera mount system on a box of seltzer water.
Balance. Get things high. There we are. Ta-da!
Yay! So this is completely impromptu. We really don't have anything planned really to talk about, except for we'll just talk about how the trip's been going, I suppose.
Some lessons learned. And, Nomad Liberation Day.
Yeah,
I got to turn over our names here. Oh, by the way, I'm Chris. That's
And I'm
Cherie.
Cherie, but you guys know that, right? By now,
Hopefully,
hopefully
hopefully.
you're watching this because you've been watching us for a while. Anyway, today is Nomad Liberation Day, which has kind of been a informal day that a lot of us nomads celebrate. Labor Day, the end of the summer camping season, when
All the
all of
tourists leave or decrease in population.
campgrounds tend to get more booked up during the summer because a lot of people are on vacation and traveling. So us nomads, we're year-round travelers and we're having to use the same facilities. I mean, our living spaces are very often the same spaces that people are on their vacation with, and Labor Day kind of marks the end of a major vacation season
So
and the ability for us nomads to have our campgrounds back to peace and quiet.
peace and quiet, more than get back to the campgrounds being half or mostly empty a lot of times, and just yeah, so it's kind of tongue in cheek. We celebrate that all the amateurs are out, and it's back to the pro nomads having the all these amazing places to ourselves, and
Not to
sometimes,
ourselves.
well, not to ourselves, but I mean, but to that less overwhelming tourist energy. And it's sometimes actually the best weather. The spring and fall shoulder seasons are sometimes the best, absolute best weather, the least crowds, and so I'd consider some of the best times to be out RVing, exploring state parks, national parks, anything like that, because you get the best of all worlds: best weather, less crowds.
So yeah, so celebrate that. But of course, this year a lot more people are RVing in general. RVing is seen as the safe way to travel during COVID, and it indeed is. We can be fairly self-contained in our RV, be in campgrounds, and have lots of space to ourselves, using a lot of harvest hosts. And basically, we just have to grocery shop on the way and do takeout at
Yeah.
restaurants.
Hmm.
And other than that, we can have minimal contact with people.
Yeah,
So it
it is
is
a very
indeed,
safe way to
it is a
travel.
fabulous way to be traveling, and be able to experience that. And more are able to work remotely now. Work
Right.
from home also can mean work from a moving home. So RVing in general is so much more popular now, so there's a lot more people on the road. And we were kind of afraid to be leaving in the middle of July, in the middle of that summer season. What would we be encountering? Would we be
Yeah.
able to get our? Was it going to be like we remembered?
Yeah, and we'd heard so many people sharing horror stories about, like, oh my God, everything is so crowded, you can't find spots, it's a madhouse, and we set out without any reservations or plans, and we were a little worried we'd have to resort to WalMarts or Cracker Barrels, or spending lots of time hunting for places, and we have been completely surprised, and maybe we've just been really lucky that so far on our trip we have not had any trouble finding
Yeah.
places to stay.
And we didn't pre-plan a lot. We're making this up as we go. We maybe look about a week ahead as to where we want to
Tentative
go,
plans, yeah.
and we start looking around like what's available. Where are the places we want to go? People we want to visit, places that we want to see, things that are
Cool
new for us.
things that are cool and
We're
new. Yeah.
optimizing a lot for places where we can get our e-bikes out and explore the trails because that's a great thing to be doing outside, and great weather for biking right now for us. So we've been looking about a week ahead and just where we can go and get
Yeah.
reservations. And so far, our first pick campgrounds have all been available with last minute reservations.
Yeah, yeah, just and I guess that actually by focusing on that, like, just 1 week window, there's so many people who these places that were booked up 6 months ago, they're getting all their last minute cancellations. So we call and they're open, or like, so many of the ones we like to focus on are the ones that have first come first serve space, and we just time it so that we get there early enough in the day that we're like right at the beginning of the first come first serve on particularly on weekdays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had zero problem getting spots. But even when the campgrounds fill in after us, I don't think we've been in a single
Mm-hmm.
campground that has reached 100% full.
No, no, we did avoid over Labor Day state park. So we just arrived at the state
Yes.
park. I didn't even check to see if it was available over Labor Day weekend. I just know that being in a campground
So,
over weekends with a lot of vacationers just isn't our jam. It's not as much fun for us.
so
So
yeah.
we did Harvest Hosts in the Finger Lakes area for the last couple of nights.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you want to just talk about, like, we have been making such good use of our Harvest Host membership on this trip. I think it's what, 12 now, more than.
Think so, yeah. So we've been Harvest Host members for, well, since they pretty much began. It's Don and Kim, who founded it in 2009, have become friends of ours over the years. And they, honestly, they gifted us a lifetime membership a few years back. And that's such a precious gift because now Harvest Host has been sold, and they are expanding it rapidly.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I was afraid, honestly. I was really, really afraid that Harvest Host would have lost its magic, that they'd be more full, that you would get to them and the host would be less enthused with all the people coming through. Because it used to be you'd
You'd be
get
the
to
only one who's ever been there for them sometimes.
for the first
Months.
visitor in a month or something, and it's pretty much every Harvest Host we go to. They have a constant stream of people coming and going, but it's still just as awesome as always been.
And in some ways it's better because now they now have a bit of a system where you can, and not all of the hosts, not all of the places are in this, but a lot of them are where you can check their availability online. So you don't feel like you're having to call and disturb somebody who might be pouring wine in a winery and ask them, hey, do you have space next Tuesday for us to stay one night? We're Harvest Hosts. Now a lot of them are online. You can check. It's like, oh, this one's got space. Just press a button, and within a couple hours, they'll usually respond and say, "Yep, you're confirmed. Here's some arrival instructions, and go." So
Right. The online availability has been really good for planning. So when we're planning our routes and say, well, if we can get that one, okay, they show available and they have 4 spots. So odds are really good that unless they have a special event going on that they
uh-huh.
forgot to mark off on the calendar, odds are pretty good that we'll be able to snag that reservation. So we've been doing a lot of Harvest Hosts, and it's not just wineries. A lot of
Yeah,
breweries.
breweries.
We've a lot of farms, so it's been great to go to these small farms and stock up. We went to a berry farm, so we got to go do pick
You pick
blackberries and
blueberries and
blueberries.
blackberries, and
Oh my
just, oh
God,
my
they're
god, we
amazing.
feasted and had brought berries for gifts for our next stop. So we just like got tons of berries. We've
We
we
did.
actually did a little organic, or what they call a beyond organic farm. It's just a family farm with this park on our spot, and the guy sources super high quality food for restaurants, and we're just like, hey, make us a basket of your good stuff, and we
So we
left
had
with fresh veggies and eggs.
and pasture raised chickens
Oh
that
yeah.
we got to meet the chickens that are probably the ancestors of the chickens that we were
Yeah, so
eating.
now we're going to eat the chicken. So yeah, that's in the freezer. It's like
We got to do something with those. So it's been really, really cool.
to
Great way
support
to
local businesses.
supporting local businesses as we go. Harvest Host is definitely not free. I think our average stay has been about $80 a night because we buy wine. We
Yeah,
do.
we support the business. That's the whole
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, we do restock the fridge with the fresh veggies or whatever we're doing. There was one that was a small high end grocery store in Bishop.
Oh, yeah. So we did our grocery shopping
Yeah,
at a Harvest House and got to stay out behind on their pasture. So yeah, we've had a lot of. That's one of the big surprises of being back on the road for me is, in the past Harvest House was we just like do one or two per trip. Now we've been doing
a lot of
a
them.
lot
The
of
van
our
is perfect for them. I mean, most Harvest Hosts can
handle
fit
big rigs,
big
but
rigs, but this van has been just fantastic with its electrical autonomy. We charge up while we're underway, so the lithium batteries in this Travato, they're full. They're great. Even if we need to run the air conditioner, because we have had some heat bubbles, we're
yeah,
good overnight without even having to run the engine to recharge.
yeah.
Our water systems were good about 4 or 5 days. We're finding without needing to seek a dump station and
Yeah, and
refill.
without having to spend too much time worrying about using bathhouses and stuff. So yeah, we're getting better at being miserly with the water in the van and really stretching that out. But it's so easy to dump and fill the van that it's really not a big deal to.
It's super easy for me.
Okay, it's super easy for her, but it's actually not so hard for me either. Uh,
Thankfully, I have a dump master.
um,
Okay,
okay,
maybe that's not the best thing to call you.
but yeah, I tend to handle the dumping chores and the cat litter box. Why do I get all the poop jobs? Okay, it's like,
Lucky, I guess, huh?
yeah, yeah, fine. Um, yeah, that's, I don't know. Yeah, the so being back on the road has been great. We have had to balance the excitement of wanting to do and see it all. It's kind of almost like being back to being beginners, of like we want to, like there's so much out there, so many cool places to see. You look at the map and we're like, well, we can go here, and then we can go here, and we can go here. Oh, but then we can go here, and you're like, suddenly you're
It's like
stretched way too thin.
wait a minute.
We still have to work.
We still have to work, and this intended to be just. Well, we don't know what we intended when we hit the road back in July, of how long this van trip would be, or if we'd end up back at the boat first, or if we'd get out to the bus in Arizona, um, or how long we would take. How long would we be away from one of those two, what is supposed to be our home bases? But the van, I mean, we're on 7 weeks now, and
Not feeling cramped at all.
not at all. It's just been so super comfortable. The refinements on the 2020 version versus the 2016 that we used to have. they're small, but they make a huge
Yeah,
difference. I
it
think.
just feels like a really, and also just the refinements we've made, and just we've now gotten really used to how to use the space in the
Mhm.
van and where things go and how to cart stuff around and carry our
Mhm.
spares of everything. And we were able to even able to bring along fitness gear. So we got yoga mats and dumbbells and exercise bikes, of course. So yeah, we've been able to keep closing our rings and getting good workouts every day too. So we've really been maximizing the small space.
Oh, totally. And it's so yeah. We should be arriving in at Chris's parents' place. I think around the
Two and
20,
a half,
20th. I don't know.
3, whatever day it is,
Yeah, I think we have 2.5 more weeks left on before we get
get
there.
to Illinois area.
And then we'll probably they'll be going down to Florida, and then we'll stay and we'll enjoy some house time, and
have
recharge time.
have
And
some packages catch up with us time and do some
yeah,
bigger.
we got so spoiled being in Sanford aboard the boat and having our marina is set up to be for full timers. In accepting packages, so we got so used to just like, oh, need something, order on Amazon. It shows up that afternoon sometimes because there's a distribution center right there. So yeah, having to think, okay, stock up on, we have an ongoing list of when we are next
Yeah,
going to be someplace where we can have
yeah,
packages meet up with us, and
but
thankful for our friends who offer an
yeah,
address for us
but we
to
really
head
haven't
into.
had too many things we've needed to catch up,
Not
right?
too
Not
much,
much.
no.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have that much
yeah.
space, but there's some things that um, like Kiki's cat food. So we just
Yeah,
have to think ahead and make
yeah,
sure we have a month's supply of her cat
right.
food.
But we got so much storage space. We're doing
Hmm.
pretty well. But yeah, so that'll be take advantage of a little house time, and then once we get to Illinois, St. Louis area, we're going to then decide: are we heading back to the boat? Are we heading out to Arizona in the bus? Or does something else present itself? And we'll of course every day be watching the weather just to see if hurricanes and storms have any other
If
ideas.
hurricanes come to St. Louis,
No, but
I
if they
am
have to have us go back to our boat
right.
quickly, yeah,
That's the major deciding factors. We're intentionally staying on the East Coast within, so that if we needed to get back to the boat for a major storm before or after, that we're only two really hard driving days back.
right.
We could do it. We could
Hmm.
get back pretty quickly. Once we get out to Arizona,
I mean, it's
it's
hard to get
it's
back to the
three or
boat.
4 days of
Hmm.
hard driving, and those are exhausting driving days.
Yeah, so we are keeping a close eye on hurricane season, and so far for Florida, it's been very uneventful.
Shh, it is
Knock
peak
on wood.
season now.
Yes,
No,
I know,
shut your mouth.
but they've been coming to New England, which was not. That's also another surprise. We did not expect to be dealing with hurricanes in our van trip, and we've had to
Yeah,
kind of
so yeah, we were in Rhode Island visiting with some friends when Henri started
came right.
triangulating on, well, Rhode Island, and then we were planning to go meet up with some friends in Connecticut. They were in the Trumbull area, I think, and
It was
and
basically the eye was headed straight for them.
well, originally was going out
Yeah.
to Rhode Island, so we touched base with Eric and Kayla, and like, okay, what are your guys' plans? Are you going to evacuate? Are you staying there? Do you want us to come there? And at first it looked like, hey, it's just going to be tropical force
Yeah. So
storm. We're all good with it. They had a
let's
barn they could put our
yeah.
van
So we
in, and
decided let's all converge in Trumbull. Then the tracks shifted from Rhode
right to
Island
them.
to exactly, basically going right over the house. And we're like, let's all evacuate together to New Hampshire.
So yeah, so Eric's family has property up there that they're converting to a campground. So we got to go up there. So we spent 5 days with Eric and Kayla. They also run a mobile must-have, which we work with a lot with running the Mobile Internet Resource Center.
Yeah.
So we had 5 fun days of evacuating on rate, no damage at all
Yep.
to their place at
And
all.
up where we were, it was just this tiniest little bit of wind and some like one day of dumping rain up there. And then we're like, okay, let's continued west, and then Ida became the big surprise, and we just by luck managed to get just all we got from Ida was a little bit of rain, a little bit of drizzle,
And a
and some
beautiful
beautiful
rainbows.
rainbows and sunset, but just a little bit where we'd been just days before, like Jersey City, where we were riding around in New York City and stuff. Was Oh my god, it's just horrifying to see some of the flooding that happened there, and that's right where we were. So yeah.
Yeah, because we spent some time in New York City on this trip. We stayed at the Liberty Harbor RV Park in Jersey City and had a wonderful stay there. So yeah, it was kind of devastating to see what happened there just weeks after we were there. And then yeah, just in areas that we had just been. I mean, it wasn't like we were tracking Ida and we're necessarily trying to stay ahead of the path,
No, it just got
but
lucky.
when we looked at the map of where we landed that night, and it was a great little campground along the Erie
Yeah,
Canal.
right on the canal. It's beautiful.
And we're just looking at the map, it's like we're just right on the outskirts. like, okay,
We
awesome.
missed that torrential rain and wind and everything else. And
Yes.
oh, I see Margot is joining us to celebrate a Nomad Liberation Day up in Canada as well. They celebrate there. Back to
Yes,
school, fewer
yes,
tourists.
yes, yes. Back to school, fewer tourists. But yeah, so another lesson on the road. So we've learned, getting back into the habit of not planning too far ahead, just to keep that flexibility and adjusting as we need to
Hmm.
go. But the other thing that we've gotten into is too many nights in a row of having 1 or 2 night stays. As much as we'd love harvest hosts, the expectation really clearly is now one night. Whereas back in the old days, you could get to a site and you get an invitation to stay for several days.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen as often. Usually they're booked up now
Hmm.
with 1 night stays, and so we can't do too many 1 night stays in a row. Can't do too
Particularly,
many nights of wineries too in
that
a
is very
row.
true. Too many one night stays of enjoying a lot of wine or beer or cider gets and then having to have a work day, and then because you're having to move because you just stayed for one night, you've got to get up and plan on your moving in the morning. And so yeah, we're now trying to incorporate more 2 and 3 night stops to balance out those one nights and
Right.
have actual chance to have a full on work
Okay,
day.
yeah. So we're very blessed that the Mobile Internet Resource Center, our day job,
It's keeping us way too busy.
is very, very busy, so busy, and we've been, it's got good income coming in now these days that we actually have a team. We actually have 6 people now on our team who work with us to keep it running. And that has allowed us a lot of flexibility to kind of, it's been nice.
Better balance.
We
We've been doing better at balance.
yeah, the last year with the pandemic, being home based on the boat, we were working 10, 12-hour days way too often just because it gave us something to focus
True.
on and feel like we were helping and building. And that led to burnout. It led
Yeah,
to
it
some
definitely
major
did.
burnout. And this trip has been a different type of burnout of, I think, a little too much balance on the plate.
Well,
Maybe, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. It's good to
mix it up. Yeah.
let the
Hmm.
team take over and
Yeah.
let them handle a lot more of the day-to-day
Hmm.
news tracking and content updates and things
Yeah.
like that. And we just come in a few hours every morning before we get on the road,
Yeah.
work, update
And
the things we need to,
and
answer
then
questions, take some
handle our bigger
sessions.
projects and writing and stuff
Yep.
at night or whenever we have a down day that we can focus on it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely need more down days. We planned 3 nights here at this location. Thankfully, great bandwidth here. So stay here, get caught up. It'll be great. So I think I am running out of lessons learned so far. I don't know any other lessons. But if you guys have questions, please
This is the time to keep the questions and to bring
bring
out
out
the
the
wine to
wine
celebrate our harvest hosts of
in our
fish.
Nomad Liberation Day. So
Nomad
yeah, if you have
Liberation Day.
questions about van life, back on the road, boat life, nomad life, just our always request. Remember, Technomadia, which you're watching this channel, is our fun play space. This is about wine and cats and travel. Mobile internet is our day job, and if you want information on that, go to our Mobile Internet Resource Center YouTube channel or the website at
Yes.
mobileinternetinfo.com. We have tons and tons of content there,
Hmm.
and our members do get interactive Q&As
Yeah.
throughout the month and forums to ask us questions. So
Yeah.
no mobile internet questions.
Yeah, but I will share that we are using a bonded connection combining Verizon and AT&T to make this upload extra reliable. So hopefully the quality has been very good. And yeah.
So I am pouring this evening.
Yates
Yates
Cellars.
Cellar.
It was last night's stop.
This is our Harvest Host Day last night, and they're in the Finger Lakes region. They were an awesome little small winery. They grow all their grapes there at the property, make the wine there, and sell it. They only wine direct. We tasted, I think, 12 different ones together.
Yep.
We share our tastings.
No, actually, I think we had about 14 different ones we tasted.
Yeah.
They have so many different
And I would
wines.
say every single one of the 14 we tasted were awesome. And
Or
they're
good to awesome.
good to awesome.
Yeah.
So, and their prices were $15 to $18 a bottle, which for a small winery with high quality wines is kind of
So we stocked up.
So we stocked up.
So yeah, we intentionally made that.
Stocked up. We can only carry 6 bottles of wine.
It's a van, so yeah. But we refilled our wine cellar, which had run dangerously low, and now
dangerously. I'm not quite sure it was dangerous, but yeah, it was. Oops, I just dropped a bit. So this Regent was a really good one that we enjoyed.
Oh, you forgot to use the aerator, but it'd been breathing for a while. Okay, it's been
I let
breathing.
it air out. I let it breathe for about an hour before we went live.
Well, cheers. I'll bring up some questions.
All right. Do we have any questions?
Let's see. Well, I guess start with this one here. Curious if you also use Boondockers Welcome, owned by the same folks as Harvest Host.
So Boondockers Welcome also came out about a decade ago. We know the founders of that, Marianne. We are members there, but we have honestly never used it. And the reason why isn't because we love the concept. We regularly do homestays or driveway surfing or mooch stalking, whatever you want to call it. But we usually have a list, very long, of invitations from friends, family, and followers over the years that we've. So we tend to prefer to accept invitations rather than ask for invitations.
But yeah, that's just how it works for us. We've
Mm-hmm.
heard nothing but great things about Boondockers Welcome, and probably at some point, I was prepared to start doing some Boondockers Welcome searches, but we've been finding so many great Harvest Host stops that it just hasn't even become like needed to fill in the gaps so much.
Right. So yeah, and we're finding that we're far more introverted with the pandemic. I mean,
Yes, that's true.
It's like we were introverted beforehand, but we're much more appreciating time to ourselves and choosing who we interact with, and making sure that people that we are spending time with are within our own risk threshold. Fellow vaccinated, people
Right.
who follow similar protocols that we do. And those aren't necessarily. I haven't even looked to see how Boondocker Welcome is sharing that sort of information to make
True,
sure that you're.
because we don't want to feel like on the spot of needing to be social with people we haven't had a chance to I guess compare risk factors with, in a sense, because everybody's making their own trade-offs and balances, and some people have unvaccinated kids, or some people are this and some, and it's everybody needs to decide what's right for them, and we're doing that for ourselves, and taking it
It's a
very
lot easier
cautious.
to have those conversations with friends,
That's true.
and a lot of our friends we're following on social media and also know that they have similar risk protocols that we do, and we feel comfortable having some relaxed time with them.
Hey, we do have a. Oh, it's Richard, and wants to know how Kiki's doing. So got to bring her back. If you saw her in the beginning, she had a nice little cameo. Be careful not to knock over the camera. But she has been doing really well. She loves all this camping, but there are not enough lizards in the Northeast. I mean, she is missing her Florida lizards. So there's that.
Yes, but Kiki in May was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. In early June, she had um, radi- um, radiation active iodine 131 treatment. So we went out of our way to get her that treatment. And her 1 month blood work was back to completely normal. And she will have a follow up. We'll get her blood work done when we get to St. Louis later this month. And that'll kind of really tell us if the treatment was successful, which it has a 95% cure rate. So she should.
But
She's been awesome.
and because it's been getting colder. This is the best part of having a cat. We've been getting some cold nights, which means a lot more snuggles. It should be like wrapped all over Cherie's head or pinning us both down in the bed. And so cold nights, cat snuggles, big plus. Got a question from Chris saying, "Are we seeing more full-time nomads due to layoffs from COVID and the business downturn? Campgrounds are more crowded in general." I think actually we're seeing a lot of people who are able to work on the road. They're not being laid off. They're being able to travel and still.
I think that we're seeing that more. Well, we're not seeing a lot of it because we're not interacting with people
True.
as many. But yeah,
But online we're seeing a lot of
online.
people, and all well, just people are coming to us for business.
Yeah, mostly. So most of the full timers we work with are through the Mobile Internet Resource Center, and they're joining our site because they need to work remotely, because they've been able to transition their jobs to be remote and be able to travel now. So we're working with more people who are in that situation, not
And
necessarily
there's
laid
been
off.
a huge increase in people who are like, hey, now I can take my job, or my kids now are able to be remote schooled, and we're taking the whole family and hitting the road. And so there's been a big increase in that. That's definitely been they filling up the parks. We don't know the ratio of how many people are there because of their layoffs and the downturn side of things. I mean,
and I'm sure that's happening.
Yeah.
It's just not it's not something we keep on track
It's
of.
true.
Most of the people we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis are work remote.
And says the quality of the connection has been great. That's good because we haven't been monitoring it, so I'm really happy for that. You never quite know when we didn't have time to do a dry run, which is something we normally recommend. Al wants to know, what mods have you done or want to do to your van?
So thankfully, when the way we got our van was through our YouTube channel, as we put out there what we were looking for, And we purchased this van from one of our YouTube followers who had bought this 6 months prior and just decided they wanted the other model of the Travato. And so we were able to purchase this one from him. And he had already done all the mods that we had done to our prior van. So there haven't been a ton of stuff that we've needed to do on the van.
Well,
we probably will do a video.
We did, I guess, the upgrade. Yeah. We put in a big high-res CarPlay receiver, so we got nice big maps. And
we've changed out the antennas.
Yeah, we put a cellular antenna on
it.
We got different routers in place. We took out the TV and put in a big giant 5K monitor. But yeah, we do. We'll at some point do kind of just a focused on mods video. But if you want to see kind of what we're starting with, which also included a lot of mods, check out our van tour video. Let's just.
Yeah, we haven't done really anything since we picked up the van, other than changing the antenna, and the CarPlay thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, mostly the van came to us already modded.
Well, I guess there's some of the accessory stuff, like the lifting jacks are really cool. We've been taking advantage of those.
Yeah,
so those are.
I'm planning to do a video on Travato mods, and that'll include the ones that came with this one that we like, and the ones that we didn't. And we'll probably do one on Travato accessories that help out. So
yes. So Russell points out that we seem to really like each other.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do. You have to live in such a small space successfully. Bruce says come visit him in Michigan. I think we probably not going to have enough time to get to Michigan. We're just looking at our calendar ahead.
Yeah, we were very when we set off from Florida. We thought, we'll go visit our friends in Connecticut, New Hampshire. Maybe we'll go over to Maine. We'll go up into Canada and go visit Margot, and then we'll go back into the UP and come down through Michigan, visit all our friends in Michigan, and then get. Yeah, you know what? 2 months isn't enough time to do all that.
Oh my God, it's gone so fast, and we're like looking. It's like, because we have a deadline to be in the St. Louis area before my parents leave, because it'd be kind of pointless to go visit them
winter,
after they're gone.
Apparently, it gets cold.
And yeah, there is a winter thing coming too, and so we have to be there, and so we're like, we're running out of time. Yeah. So I don't know about Michigan, but I definitely would love to get out and see you at some point. So. And Margot says she's found Boondockers Welcome is more work to set up than Harvest Host. It can be a great experience, but easier for more extroverted folks.
Yeah, and we are not.
Compared to on the Margot extroverted scale, like Margot is way over here on extroversion.
So just for reference, when we met Margot at Bash last year, and she was our introvert shield. So she basically did all interfacing with people, and then kind of helped us merge
she's in. Awesome. She's like she's our designated social butterfly, and we love her and miss her and hope to see her again soon. And we've had actually 2 people say that Boondockers Welcome has been very friendly wave, no forced interaction, which is good to know. That's great.
That's really probably going to be host dependent, I would assume, and what their thresholds are. And I don't know. We tend to find when people either know us and they either know that we're introverts already from following us for so long and are very respectful of that, or they want to have lots of conversations with us. And I have to be in the right mood to visit with people who want lots of conversations.
Yes. Now we have a question from Johnny Lightning. What are your must-haves for someone just hitting the road? Things like hoses, TPMS, etc.
Oh, water and power really aren't all that important. You need mobile internet. That is the most important thing, and wine.
Yeah, actually, because presuming your RV came with the tanks already full, you've got at least a week or 2 before you run out of water, and as long as you got internet and wine, you're probably going to be fine.
So we're probably the worst people to ask, because remember, we started in a 16-foot travel trailer without an air conditioner, a refrigerator, or a bathroom. So
our gray water tank, I had a Halloween pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern plastic pumpkin that I'd put under where the water drained out of the sink. So our gray tank was literally a jack-o'-lantern. It was a very different kind of start with RV. We had no hoses because we didn't need them. There was no tank.
Yeah, but if you're just getting on the road, you need all the basics. You need hoses, you need power connections if your RV USB plugs in. You need all that sort of stuff. Everything else, I think, comes down to personal preference and how you want to RV.
Yeah, and just figuring out kind of like how to fill and use and take advantage of the space. And if your RV has an owners group, that is the kind of the place to get some really great tips for how other people, like what things fit in your storage area and are actually useful day to day. Um, Probably don't go and some people like to buy everything all at once and then they're just kind of overwhelmed. I'd almost recommend just get what you need as you need it, and as you learn
Yeah.
more, get more, and then swap out
Amazon
what doesn't work.
delivers everywhere pretty much,
Yeah,
and that's typically what we do is
yeah.
we'll be using our space for a while. We'll say, you know what, we really need to find a solution
To
for a
store
better
X.
solution for the trash, or we need a better solution
Hmm.
for, and we go and we look. We'll go to our
Yeah.
Travato owners group, or we'll go to, on the Bayliner with our boat, we'll go to our Bayliner owners group and just see what other people have done and get ideas.
Yeah, and it's yeah, but some things like you don't want to be like pulling up with your full waste tank and be like, oh, I guess I need a dump hose now. So you yeah, maybe think that stuff through in advance. But a lot of the stuff it's yeah, and yeah, I don't know. Like, things like TPMSs and things, like our van has one built in, which is nice. We got one for the bus, but we didn't get it day one. But maybe you should. I don't.
I
It's.
know, yeah, we went 10 years without that sort of
Oh no,
stuff.
we had a TPMS pretty early on the bus, but
Yeah, with the
yeah,
bus, but we didn't when
in the
prior
in our
stuff.
in the prior RV we did not worry about it. But yeah. Now speaking of things that you must have though is e-bikes, and so Don is asking, he's thinking of getting an e-bike, and any suggestions? We're loving having e-bikes
Yes.
on the van.
So we have Ejo Epic Swans, and we have a video that we did in April on them. And then we've had e-bikes since 2015, and we had the Ejos prior to that. Our criteria for an e-bike is we wanted them light enough and folding enough so that we could fit them both on the boat and on the back of the van.
Which has
Uh,
a weight limit, yeah.
and our rack has a weight limit, and we also want them to be able to be transported onto our dinghy off the boat. So our criteria might be different than what yours are, but definitely triangulate on
Yeah.
what your criteria are. What are your size requirements? You have weight limits on your rack that you can carry them on.
Because there are so many awesome e-bikes out right now, ranging in price. If you're looking for a value e-bike, I do have to say the electrics are really great for the price. Our friends Ron and Steve have them. They're excellent bikes. We like the e-Joes. We've been very happy with them. But do your research. There's so many great options out there. And for us, like what we really love about e-bikes is you don't always have to use the e part of them. So they're great bikes, but if we got a hill, or we just want to like run an errands or something, we do want power, we've got power. Or if we want fitness, we've got fitness. It's on or off, and we love that.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of flat trails like these tow paths along canals,
Or through New
and
York City, we did so much biking in New York
yeah,
City.
and I do find I need a little more electric than he does just to keep up with him because he's stronger than I am, and he's able to just pedal. And if I want to keep up with him, I either need to increase my leg strength, which I'm trying to do. I'm
Yeah,
trying to actually
I,
force myself to
yeah,
go
because
longer.
I'm just a few months ahead of her, because I'm now able to keep a pace without electric that I couldn't even imagine without using electric just a few months ago. So it's like I've been getting a lot of great, I guess, bike strength out of just doing
Right.
so much e-biking
So
lately.
he's ahead of the curve, which presents a challenge to me of trying to get there. And so I'm trying to split using electric and not electric to try to get my legs, because the e-bikes are heavy.
Yes.
Ours are 56 pounds, and they're some of the lightest on the market. It's a lot of bike to move without that electric assist. So keep that in mind. If you do want something that you can pedal without the electric assist, that weight makes a huge
Right.
difference, and it is a challenge to overcome. These are not bikes that are
Yeah.
necessarily built for pedaling.
Yeah, it's like when we met with our friend Eric in New Hampshire, and he's got his carbon fiber mountain bike, which I think weighs 3 pounds or something. He could lift it with two fingers.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, that's a lot easier to pedal, but some days I just really like the electric.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely go back and look at our e-bike shopping guides and stuff like that. We have a video and a blog post on the last one was in
Yeah.
April. We did an overview of the ones we picked, why we picked them, and then there was a post before that when we were shopping for the latest, and we listed all the ones that we were considering. biggest consideration right now is there is a bike shortage,
Oh,
part
that's
shortage. It's going to come down to what can you get right now.
yes, because yeah, and actually, the ones we have, the Ejo Swans, there last we heard they were sold out and not available again. So
They might be shipping now. I don't know. They were
yeah,
supposed to be. I don't know.
yeah. So definitely that's one of the, and don't necessarily believe the claims of when e-bike companies say they'll be back in stock. If they're not in stock, be careful. Speaking of e-bikes, here's our e-bike buddies, Ron and Steve. Steve is apparently waving at us right
Hi,
now.
Steve. We do see you.
Yes, yeah, we actually have a spy camera we set up when we visited you guys. So yes, we can't see any of the rest of the people tuned into the live, except we can see you,
Well, see,
Steve.
they just got
Oh,
Apple
right.
Watches, and what Ron doesn't realize is when he friended us on the Apple Watch, we can now see Steve.
Yeah, we can see it through the watch. It's got the Dick Tracy module. So yes, they're gonna they were inspired to start doing some workout tracking on their watches after hanging out and doing some bike riding with us when we
Yeah,
passed
we were
through.
just they're camp hosting in the White Mountains, so we just spent some time with them up in there where they are. It was awesome to hang out and get some biking in with them and have some time with friends.
Joe is asking, do we have a harvest host with the golf plan? Any feedback on the golf locations?
So the lifetime members, which is what we were gifted by the original founders of Harvest Host, when the new owners took it over, they included the golf membership with the lifetime members. So we do have the add-on. We have not stated any golf locations that required the golf membership. We have stated a disc golf course and a mini golf course, which did not require the disc golf.
Right.
It did not require the
They
golf
were just
membership.
regular harvest hosts, and yeah, we actually had a mini golf stop in that was in New Hampshire. That was Vermont, right? Vermont. It was our Vermont stop, and yeah, got our mini golf on and ice cream, homemade ice cream, and that
But
was
no,
our
we have
night.
not yet stayed at one of the golf locations. Initially, I was hearing mixed reviews that some of them are like expecting you to actually play golf, which beyond mini golf I don't do. So we haven't really looked into it. We haven't. One hasn't been on our route where there weren't other options.
There weren't other options because, like, a winery I'm excited to go to, a country club, it might be a beautiful place to park, but we're not going to take advantage of the golf course, and we're not. Maybe we would take advantage of the restaurant or something.
I'd
So
have to look at the menu. I have so many dietary.
we'd have to.
I'm a
We'd have,
snowflake
because we don't want to just go and take advantage of a parking lot and not support the business. So we want to find one that we have a way to support them too.
Yeah, and that is an important criteria when we're choosing our Harvest Host locations. Is it something that we can support? So we don't do multiple wineries in a row because number one,
we can't handle it.
I should not be drinking every single day, and we can't stock up on that much wine. So we try to mix it up with farms and museums and. Maybe a brewery or something else. So, we are looking for things that we need. So if we need to restock the fresh produce, we're going to look for
farms. Yeah, well, exactly. And so Johnny Lightning informs us that apparently the winter thing does actually happen every year, which seems like bad planning on somebody's part, but I guess winter
it's kind of like hurricane season.
Happens every year. Maybe every 3 years would be better, but okay. I guess I mean, I like in Game of Thrones, winter is coming, but it takes like 5 years to get there. So, that would be nice. Winter's coming, but you got years to wait. So Ken says, when you were at Liberty Harbor, this is the RV park in Jersey City, right across from the Statue of Liberty, did we take the train into the city?
And no, we did not. We're enclosed spaces with other people is beyond our personal tolerance level for risk. But we did take the ferry, which was outdoors. So
it has easy transport for bikes too. So we took the ferry.
And yeah, so the ferry picks up right at the RV park, and so we just did that. We just caught the morning one, put the bikes on it. We went upstairs. We got a beautiful view of the city, outdoor air, not a lot of people on it, and just biked around the city.
The view. I mean, taking the ferry is not all that much more expensive than the PATH train. The PATH train also picks up just a few blocks away from the RV park. So
which is 8 blocks, not a few.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So we're gonna have a video soon that's gonna talk about our RVing in New York, and we filmed it already. The Liberty Harbor RV park is highly recommended. It's expensive. I think it might be one of the most expensive RV parks we've ever.
$120 a night.
But
it's a parking lot
for a parking lot. But it is amazing experience if you're we just love taking advantage of that. Okay. We got a question from Chris about if you had to pick one mode of living between van, bus, or boat, which would you pick?
So the whole point of us having all three after years of travel is that we don't have to pick.
Yes.
So I can't imagine a scenario where we would have to pick just one, nor would I want to. We really like mixing it up.
That's kind of what brought us into this whole lifestyle. Is we like the all of the above. Like when people say, do you like city? Do you like to be downtown New York, and or do you like to be out in the super boonies? It's like, yes, all of the above. I don't want to pick one. I want to pick both.
Right. So I can conceive if we didn't love our bus so much, and it's so a big part of us, so it's not even in the cards to be looking at selling it. I could see a life of being very happy with just the boat and the van was continuing to service both our car off of the boat and also for van trips, like what we're doing right now. I could see a life without a motorhome. I can't see a life without our bus because the bus is so much a part of who we
Right.
are.
Yeah. The bus could be more of a fixed spot, which is kind of but our poor bus hasn't seen us, hasn't moved in so long. We need to go see our bus.
Yeah, we do. So
And love. There's so much more to explore on the boat, and I don't know when that will come to an end. Loving the nimbleness of a van, I can't imagine like not wanting to have something like this van in our life, no matter what comes in the future. So, all of the above. I don't. Yeah. Question from Betty of what do we use to purify our water?
So each of our vessels has a water filtration system. In the van, we have whatever comes with the Travato.
Yeah,
I
just
think it's a Culligan water under sink thing. On the boat, we've got the Seagull
water
filtration
system.
system, which is highly rated for marine use. And on
On
the
the bus, we
bus,
just got
we have a double canister coming into the water tanks, and then we have an under sink one. I know it's a 10 stage under
hmm
sink one. So
And then we do a little bit of homework. If we try not to put bad water in our tanks to begin with, so we use
what homework do we do for that?
if heard there's bad water someplace, particularly when like we're out west with the bus, because our
Okay.
bus tanks are so huge. With the van, we have really kind of no choice because we need water every few days. But with the bus, we can go several weeks without needing to fill. So we wait until we're someplace with not marginal well water and use that to fill. But we've never had problems with water in years and years
I know there's a lot of filtration systems out there.
that are much
There's
fancier. Yeah.
fancier. It's never been much of a concern for us. We pick city water sources and fill up, and you know have under counter for our drinking water. We use an under counter filtration system.
Mm-hmm. Margot says, Michael says hi. So I'm hoping maybe Michael found a way to visit her or they're together. So hopefully, hi to both of you. So awesome. Cool. Um, oh, Joe shared the link.
Joe's being our link wizard. Thank you, Joe.
And any tips for Amtrak travel? I'm considering a trip to St. Louis in early October. We did a Amtrak rail pass back when we bought our bus 10 years
2000,
ago.
yeah, 10 years ago we spent a month living on Amtrak, and we've done a couple of other Amtrak adventures to get around, and it's a fabulous way to travel.
Because we like to travel slow, and Amtrak is slow, but that's part of the fun of it all. And dining in the dining car, meeting other people in the lounge, splurging and getting a roomette for the longer
For the
stories. Yeah,
overnights. But yeah, if you're just doing the coach for a shorter train trip, you can bring your own food on board if you like. You can
yes,
bring your own wine and
yes.
beer.
Bring a box of wine and lots of snacks and just enjoy it and a good book to read.
And
And
have a just keep in mind that Amtrak's not in control of the rails. Freight trains get priority, and things happen on trains. You're either going to be on time or you're not, and the odds of not are very high. And there's no alternate routing. There's not like a second train that comes along that day usually to reroute you on. So have a flexible attitude.
and enjoy the journey. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole point of train travel. Is
Hmm.
it's fun. Particularly, I mean, commuter trains are a whole different thing. They're fast and on schedule. But the cross country train travel is usually slow and usually no cheaper than flying. It's probably sometimes more expensive than the budget airlines. But it's all about the experience and
Hmm.
just being able to chill out and just enjoy it. So
Hmm.
highly recommend train travel. I wish the one thing I hate about train travel is we can't bring Kiki.
Yep, no pets allowed. So that's one reason we don't do it very often. And right now we're not into closed environments with other people. But and also, one of the biggest routes. I mean, there is a train station in Benson, Arizona, right by our RV lot, and if they could reopen the
From New Orleans to
in
Florida, it's been shut
Florida,
down since Katrina.
if that route could reopen, it would open up a huge world for us for getting back and forth between the
Yes.
coasts.
Yeah, because I guess that is one of the challenges with trains is there's so few routes that a lot of things you have to either go all the way up to Chicago or Washington D.C. before spreading south. So it's sometimes it's really kind of really awkward, crazy routing. Ian says the lightest mountain bikes, e-bike mountain bikes are around 40 pounds, but they're $10,000.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Ours were. I think they're raising the price to $1,800 next month. I saw in a newsletter. So ours are middle of the line bikes. They're definitely not the cheapest, but they're definitely a lot more expensive ones out there.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ronald is requesting our Liberty Harbor RV video before October 12th because that's when they're heading south.
I will do my best, but I am so behind on video production.
Yes. Johnny says, will we be able to tow the Travato behind the bus?
No.
For one, the Travatos are not flat towable. ProMasters are not flat towable. And for two, the bus's towing capacity, there never really was an official tow capacity, but our Mini Cooper we considered kind of, about as much as we wanted to tow behind a 4106.
The van weighs like 9,500 pounds. That's a lot of tow capacity.
Yes.
So no, we intentionally purchased the van that when we were traveling by both the bus and the van, if we're taking both out, where the van is going to be our car, we just caravan, because from here on out, we already have the bus repositioned out in Arizona, and that's the intention to now be our winter home base.
Yeah, so we'll
someday
do desert boondocking out in the bus.
Someday winter will be the home base out there. We'll take both vehicles out, but it won't be going more than maybe 300 miles radius from where we store the bus long term. So we'll just caravan both out there using the van as our car when we're out there, or a spare guest room should my mother come out and visit us.
Yes, we have used the van as our guest room, and that's been wonderful several times. We got Eric said he's a locomotive engineer with freight trains. So we've got a train engineer who's watching us now. That's cool. Cool job. Russell asked, do we have a Starlink? We'll answer that we do not, but we have used one, and we got tons of articles on Starlink over at the Mobile Internet Resource Center.
We have one here on the, and we did do one on the channel here, our personal take on it, the downsides of Starlink for RVers. It's going to be a great option. We live in a van, we're traveling in a van right now, and there's nowhere to store one, and we like to stay in trees, and you can't use Starlink with a lot of trees around. So the number of places that we could use Starlink would be
very, very limited.
And we tried to use it in New Hampshire.
Yeah, we actually had access to a Starlink in New Hampshire and we did a lot of testing with it and stuff and got some more hands-on experience. And so, but yeah, anyway, check the past video we did here, check the articles, and go over to the Mobile Internet Resource Center. We got tons of Starlink stuff over there. Oh, we're caught up. With one final question here from Russell says, what happened to the loop? Did you quit? And no, we go back and check our videos. But yeah, no, the pandemic happened. And so we retreated down to Sanford, Florida. And that's kind of been the boat's home base while we're waiting for looping. Because like right now,
Canada's closed.
Canada's closed.
Well, Americans can get across, but we're hearing a lot of reports of Americans getting their boats across the Canadian border and not being able to get them back. So as far as looping goes,
this is not a year for looping.
It is not a year for looping, and it's a lot of effort and expense to move the boat up the coast. And
so our loop is on pause.
It's on pause. We'll get back to it one day, but we don't identify as loopers anymore. We're just nomads who enjoy boating and van and bus travel.
What's been really fun though is like we've been up here along the Erie Canal going through New York, and it's been cool to see some of these places that I'm excited to go to by boat again. And like actually we like to do all the side trips, and so we've been up in the Finger Lakes and going through Seneca Lake and Cayuga Lake. It's like this is a side trip hardly any loopers do, is to come up into the Finger Lakes. It's like it'd be fun to come to these wineries by boat someday.
Yeah, so we'll get up here one day. We love living on our boat. We love cruising on our boat. Once we know that there's more options, once we get the boat up here, we feel the world is reacting confidently to the situations at hand.
And travel is back to normal. Yeah,
more normal.
Yeah, more normal.
Yeah, I just hate to put all the effort into the boat because you're more limited on the boat what you can do around you. So we'll see. Yeah, for now, we're just enjoying life. That's what we are.
And as we talked about, we like to mix it up so that all of the above stuff is like, we're not just boaters, we're not just van lifers, we're not just bus nuts. We like to swirl it up, and whatever mix feels right at the time is what we want to focus on. And so right now we're focusing on #van life and loving it.
Yeah, for now.
For
But
now. Yeah.
we'll be back to boat life or
And then
bus
we'll be
life
back to
soon.
boat life, and then we'll be back to bus life, and maybe we'll be like, hopping around an
Mhm.
international backpack, and maybe we'll be back being hobos on the rails again someday.
The worst thing that you can do is get caught by even your own labels. I mean,
Right.
society puts so many labels on us, and those when you start to use those labels to become prescriptions for what you have to do, and you start living your life for the fear of people calling you a quitter because you're not doing what they think you should be doing,
Oh, goodness.
that's not a recipe for success. So we prefer our labels to be descriptions of what we're doing currently,
Uh-huh.
but not prescriptions for what we're going to be doing. So we're just doing us, and don't care if people call us quitters.
We got a question from Russell who likes our opening song. I guess it's me referring to our normal videos. That's a song called Straight Up by my friend David Shakaban from his album Za. And I've been dear friends with him forever. I was actually the first person to buy his CD when he first had his first record printing. So, yeah, you can find him on Bandcamp and a few other places and look up
Yep,
his
and there
music.
are links on every single one of our videos in the
Yes.
description, giving him a shout out.
Yeah, that album Za is one of my all-time favorites, and yeah, he's a great guy. And we got happy traveling to Kiki, and yes,
Joe being a link wizard.
Joe
Thanks,
sharing the
Joe.
links in the chat. So if you want to find the links to some of these things we talked about, go check the chat log, which will be saved with this YouTube video. But I think we're caught up.
Yep, and it's almost an hour, so that's a good time for us to go find some dinner.
Yes, go find some dinner and have some more of this wonderful wine. Thank you, Yates Cellars. This was, yeah, that was a find of a harvest toast right there.
Beautiful location, wonderful people, wonderful wines.
Yes.
So, yeah, so thank you for joining us for this impromptu hangout on Nomad Liberation Day. May your RVing days ahead be easier. Yeah, I guess we'll call it a good night, and we'll try to do one of these. Hopefully, I don't want to get into the habit of doing them once every 3 or 4 months. I like doing them monthly.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't want to get because when you get too constrained by a schedule, then you get stressed. So we got to watch it, and just like when it feels right, like just today, it's like let's do a live, and it felt right, and got all the balls juggled, got the connection set up, and boom, we're live just a few hours later.
Yeah, so now I have to go edit like 4 videos.
That's why she said, I think that was your excuse. Let's do a live video so I don't have to go edit the other ones.
Yes, we are editing sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 videos a week for the Mobile Internet Resource Center.
Yes.
It does leave me less energy to
do the fun videos,
to create videos for this channel. So,
right. But the work videos, I guess. Okay, so yeah,
the work videos pay the bills. The ones here don't. So,
no, but we meet cool people. It's great seeing so many familiar faces pass by here in the chat. I know I've missed some of the stuff scrolling by, so I'll have to scroll by and see the rest. But thank you guys all for joining us. It has been wonderful, and see you guys out on the road.
Bye.
And if you missed the intro, we got our little farewell video, some clips of us on just the last few weeks on this road trip. So watch these clips go through.